So most people aren't working towards their goals, and most of the time they're stuck in like a guilt limbo. Like they know they're doing wrong, but they just sit in it. They sit in this guilt, and a lot of people, they always leave things to last minute. If it's an assignment, like a work assignment, school project. I used to always do that as well. I still have the memory of the feeling of having like an assignment due tomorrow, but still being on that game for like the past 3 hours. I used to play Fortnite like 6 hours a day. Even when I had stuff due tomorrow, I was like, yeah, I'll do it on the way to school. I'll do it at like break and stuff. So I know how it feels, and I think I know why this happens. It's because people are addicted to feeling like they're progressing instead of actually progressing. People put too much focus on watching the tutorials, doing notes, writing down like how to actually solve the problem, but never trying to solve the problem, if that makes sense. So for example, I recently started this YouTube channel. I watched countless of videos, how to have your videos stand out as much as possible, how to write the best thumbnails, how to have the best like content ever, and the best thing to do is to just do it. You make the most experience from doing. You'll never learn from straight theory. That's with anything in life. You can't do something from just theory because there's no hands-on experience. I had this, during high school, as I said, with the school assignments and stuff. But even now at 18, I'm starting to make that change to become more productive, less procrastinative, and I just want to share what I do to sort of escape this. Literally everyone I talk to is a master procrastinator, and I always think it can't get much worse until I meet a new person that's even worse, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, in a time where it's easier than ever to make money online, it feels like procrastination's at an all-time high. Whether it's YouTube like automation, them YouTube Shorts thing, or just AI in general. AI is massive, man, and it has so much opportunity for you to make money that you don't even realize. Procrastination is what's setting you back. Literally, just think about how much more you'd get done if you actually like locked in. It really is a issue that needs to be brought up. I think a lot of people brush this away, like, oh, it's just how I am, just a part of my personality. And it really isn't. It's because of how much distraction there is around you. Like, would you rather spend 2 hours learning the quadratic formula or 2 hours playing Overwatch? Get all that dopamine. I know which one I'd pick. Yeah, it's easier than ever to make money, and it's easier than ever to be distracted and fall into this sort of trap in this cycle. And with a lot of people that I spoke with, the reason they're stuck in this is because they don't see the value in what they are doing, or like they don't see the value in the task that they're procrastinating. For example, I have a friend who's at uni right now. He always procrastinates, leaves all his coursework, all his assignments, all his stuff. He'll be like, oh, I'll learn this module later, whatever. He doesn't realize that, this will affect his ability to get a job. Whatever degree he gets, whatever he like ends up with, he's stuck with that. But then the same people, they'll think, life's so unfair. Look at these guys. Looks like they're doing nothing and they're getting paid millions. When in reality, they're the ones the most locked in. Like behind the scenes, they're doing much more than you can ever imagine. So we've already addressed the problem. I'm just going to name a couple of things that I've done personally to break out of this habit. As I said, I was a master procrastinator. I'm not exactly proud of it, but I'm very glad that I've escaped this and I can now focus on more important things in life and make more money. I'm more happier than ever, and I don't have this sort of brain fog as well that comes from all this daily scrolling. I used to have like 12-hour watch time on TikTok daily. It was bad. So my most important tip that helped me is to slowly break down the problem. Like, it might sound quite generic and cliche, but it's very important. You cannot change yourself in one day. A lot of people, they just try and rush in. They're like, okay, this time I'm gonna change. This time I'm gonna make a difference. And they make all the difference in one day. Then by day 2, they're like, oh, it's a lot, it's challenging, and then they fall back on a few of the habits, and then they let back on a few more habits the day later, and then by like day 5 or 6, they're back to where they started. Going cold turkey isn't the play. And what I'd recommend is, if it's TikTok you're struggling with or gaming, set limits. Give yourself, okay, let's say I was on the game like 5 hours yesterday. Let's slow that down to 3. You still get your gaming time, but then you also get 2 hours extra to do what you have to do. You feel good as well, because it feels like you've actually improved and progressed. Small progress is better than no progress, and it will keep you pushing forward. So then a couple of days later you can be like, okay, I'm used to gaming for 3 hours a day. As bad as it sounds, don't listen to what other people say. It really doesn't matter. As long as it's going down, it's good. Move that down to like 1.5 hours, 2 hours gaming. And that's quite like a healthy range. As long as you get to do everything as well, as long as you're not wasting that time doing other stuff, that's also quite important. So that's my first point, kind of like the main starter point. Now we're going to get into actual stuff that really helps. And I'm just going to go through these really quickly. So I usually write down what distracts me the most. For example, like gaming, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, right? Just so it's down, it's on the paper, it's physical, and you can see it, right? Then I use an app to structure my tasks. This might sound, this isn't a paid promo or an ad or anything, but I use an app called Todoist. I'll like flash the name on the screen. It's really helpful, it's free, and you can add sort of tasks and lists. You can add like repetitive ones. It just helps structure your life. It's a really good app. It's helped me a bunch. I put my friends on it. It's helped them a lot as well. Yeah, that's sort of the big one though. I also suggest doing other tasks to help escape the mindless procrastination. Indulge yourself in more of your hobby, or like start other habits that sort of coincide with what you commonly procrastinate. For example, when I was in school, I'd have to read textbooks and stuff. I really hated that. But I also really enjoy like watching anime, reading manga, so I would just pick up one of my manga books and I'd read them before bed. I'd read for like an hour just to get back in there. You don't know how much like your brain deteriorates after just being fed nothing but TikTok slop and YouTube slop for years. I first struggled to read, like, it, as bad as it sounds, I was struggling to read them pages and to sort of get it into my mind what I'm reading. I'd have to reread so many pages again and again. Now I'm at a point where I think I'm fixed. I can read a book from start to finish without being distracted. I said it earlier, I'm at my happiest I've ever been. So to sort of summarize what I said, because I've mentioned quite a few points in this, the main point is, don't rush into change everything. Only like work on it slowly at a time. That's where you see the most result. And also start with a few small habits that slowly grow into the person that you want to become. That should be the most important takeaway from this video. And I hope I helped at least one person. And as always, thanks for watching until the end.